software engineers think career growth is about getting better technically, writing cleaner code, learning new systems, getting faster. Those things matter. But if you look closely at who gets trusted with bigger projects, who gets pulled into important conversations, and who people rely on when things get unclear, it's not just skill, it's trust. And here's a part that's easy to miss. Trust isn't just one thing. It's not a feeling, it's not a personality trait, it's a pattern of behavior. And if you don't understand how that pattern works, it's very easy to accidentally break trust, even if your intent is good. So today I'm here to talk about trust. Why should you trust me? I'm Bob Deckard. I've spent the last 8 years of my career coaching, leading, training, teaching software engineers as they grow from entry level up to senior, to staff, to manager, to principal engineer. And I've taken that experience and found some themes, and I thought it might be helpful to share those themes with others. There's a simple framework that I found really useful around trust. It comes from a book called The Thin Book of Trust. It's a very quick read. I would suggest y'all read it. This is going to be sort of a summary of that book and how it pertains specifically to what we do as software engineers. But in The Thin Book of Trust, it breaks down trust into 4 components: care, sincerity, reliability, and competence. Instead of thinking about trust as something abstract, you can think about these 4 signals. And people are constantly evaluating, often unconsciously, across all 4. Let's walk through them. There's a question folks will ask to themselves about you. Do you have my best interest in mind? In a software engineering context, this shows up in small everyday ways. Do you help teammates when they're stuck? Do you share context or keep it to yourself? When you give feedback, are you trying to help someone improve or are you trying to prove a point? Care is what makes collaboration feel safe. When it's missing, even technically correct behavior can feel off. You can be right and still lose trust. Another important component of trust is sincerity. This is about whether your words match your intent. Do you say what you actually mean? Or do people have to read between the lines? In engineering, sincerity shows up in things like clear status updates, honest communication about risk, and then this is a big one, saying, I don't know when you don't know. No one expects me as a software engineer or a software engineer manager to have all of the answers and to have all of the knowledge. And no one is going to expect you to have all of the answers or have all of the knowledge. And it actually builds much more trust when we are vulnerable and we open up about our lack of knowledge on a topic than to try to bluff our way through it and then have that gap uncovered in uncomfortable ways. It sounds simple, but a lot of trust gets lost here. When someone says something is on track and then misses a deadline, this isn't just a delivery issue. This is a sincerity issue. The third component of trust, according to the book, is reliability. This is one most engineers are familiar with. Do you do what you say you're going to do? And just as important, do you communicate early when that changes? Reliability is about consistency over time, following through, closing loops, keeping people informed. This connects directly to something we talked about in a previous episode: professional basics. If reliability isn't there, that's where the feedback stays. Not because people are nitpicking, but because the trust hasn't been established yet. The fourth component of trust is competence. This is your technical ability. Can you actually do the work? Can people trust your judgment? Can you make good decisions, especially when things are unclear? This is where most engineers will focus their effort, and it does matter, but there's an important nuance. You've probably worked with an engineer who was very strong technically, that leak coder, but people hesitate to work with them. And you've probably seen engineers who are solid, not exceptional, but everyone trusts them. The difference here isn't competence, it's the other three. So, what do we do with this? A simple starting point is this: instead of asking, do people trust me? Ask, which dimensions of trust am I weakest in right now? Is it care? Am I investing in the team or just focusing on my own work? Is it sincerity? Am I being clear and direct or avoiding a hard conversation? Is it reliability? Am I consistently following through and communicating early? Or is it competence? Do I need to deepen my technical judgment? This turns from something vague into something actionable, something you can actually work on. And this matters more than it might seem because trust is what unlocks opportunity. More ownership, more autonomy, more influence, not just because someone decides to give it to you, but because people feel comfortable relying on you. If you take one thing from this, trust is not built in big moments. It's built in small, consistent behaviors over time. And those behaviors fall into four simple categories: care, sincerity, reliability, competence. Start paying attention to those because when trust is strong, everything gets easier. Feedback becomes more honest, collaboration becomes smoother, and opportunities show up more often. When trust is not strong, that's usually the first thing to fix. Work on trust, work on those four components. The most obvious one that we work on is our technical skill or our competence. That's where we put a lot of our time in professional development. But if those other three components are not there, your technical skills are not going to give you the results that you want. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing for more content on growing as a software engineer, not just technically, but professionally. And if you've seen some examples of trust being built or broken on your team, I'd be curious to hear about the comments. No need to mention any names. And thanks for listening, y'all. As always, remember the ABCs of coding. Always be coding, and sometimes always be cultivating trust.